And now at 11 o'clock, trees crashing into homes, down power lines sparking fires, and hard-hitting hail and a ton of lightning. Tonight, thousands of communities are reeling from the widespread damage caused by a powerful storm system that tore through the DMV.
Tonight, more than 170,000 power outages in Maryland and another 44,000 in Virginia. 7 News is bringing you team coverage as so many families are recovering right now.
Now, our chief meteorologist, Bill Kelly, is going to have the very latest on what's left of the storm in just a matter of minutes. But we're going to start with Kevin Lewis, who is live in Olney, Maryland, where more than 24 homes and buildings now have been damaged by the storm.
Well, John, the vast majority of the storm damage here in Montgomery County appears to be centered in this Olney neighborhood. We are just due west of Georgia Avenue and south of Olney-Laytonsville Road. This is one of the more dramatic images we've seen all day.
The sound of chainsaws and the smell of pine were present in this Olney neighborhood Tuesday after an evening storm swept through. High winds forced multiple large trees onto homes. This backyard wooden deck appeared ready to collapse. One tree crushed this blue Honda Civic that was parked on the street. No one was inside the car. The winds even appeared to snap this street light, which still had electricity.
This was probably the baddest I've ever seen.
While surveying the damage, 18-year-old Caden Coleman saw a downed tree that was blocking Morningwood Drive. It's one of the main drags through his residential neighborhood. Caden grabbed a small manual saw and started to cut apart the tree. Others quickly joined in.
I want to say we had like 3 guys with chainsaws toward the end, probably 20 people pulling branches that they cut. My uncle had a machete that he brought out, and then some gloves. One of my neighbors was handing out water. So it was a team effort by the end.
Coleman went on to say that Montgomery County Police and fire stood by and watched residents cut up that tree, but they never offered to help. Coleman took issue with that. Officials say this storm likely displaced dozens of families in Olney. No serious injuries reported. After hitting Montgomery County, the storm moved on to Prince George's County, and that's where we find 7 News reporter Tom Rousey with more. Tom?
Yeah, Kevin, College Park is just a mess here tonight. Check this out. This is one of the many trees that came down when the storms rolled through. You see the branches there. You can see part of the root system over here. And then if you look across the street, there's another tree down. And then if we keep panning to the left, you will see more and more trees down. And this is just a small area. They're down all over the place. But check out this home. This home is in a neighborhood east of the University of Maryland, east of Route 1. Basically, the second floor, what used to be the second floor, was sent crashing to the earth by the storm. Now, I talked to 2 guys who live in the home. They say their roommate was inside at the time. He was injured and he was taken to the hospital. They expect him to be okay. In Prince George's County Fire, they say the injuries were not life-threatening. But still, what a scary situation for that home to basically be split in 2 and completely destroyed. We talked to the 2 roommates. Neither of them were home at the time, but they got back shortly after this storm hit.
My roommate said there's a tree through our house, it's really bad. I didn't expect this, you know. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. I mean, he's okay, but you know, that's the living room we're in usually all the time. There's a TV there. I was sleeping there earlier today. I could have died.
Even driving into the neighborhood, just all of the trees were toppled. You could barely even drive here. And then seeing that our house was one of the only houses that was completely destroyed is just really crazy to see, and it's just kind of shocking.
And back out here live, unbelievable. This is what the house used to look like. This is Google Maps right here. The part that you were seeing kind of leaning, that was the second floor, and it crashed to the earth. The porch is no more, and much of the first floor is no more. By the way, you see this tree I'm by right here. You can see the root system even taller than I am. Now, if I walk this way, you'll notice you see lights in the distance. There are crews working at this hour. I can hear them kind of chopping up branches in the distance. But outside of those lights, you notice how dark it is here? Well, there's actually a big apartment building right there, but the power completely out to much of College Park right now. We're not sure at this time exactly when folks are going to get power back here, but again, it's just a total mess, and the city is reporting widespread damage. They tried to have a city council meeting tonight, had to cancel it because they didn't have any power either. Reporting live in College Park in Prince George's County, Tom Rousey, 7 News.
All right, Tom, thanks for that. And the storm also produced thousands of lightning strikes like these. Did you see the sky at some point tonight? It just seemed like there was nonstop lightning. Skytrack 7 was in the air tonight as we saw a whole bunch of strikes over Prince William County. Let's go over to Stormwatch 7's Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly for the very latest on what's left of the storm system and where is it now?
Yes, off to the south, and lightning's still playing a role at this late hour, 11:05. Let me show you where it is currently. We zoom on down. King George County, I was tracking this, and this is a look here at the King George Highway, and it has been really lit up over the last hour or so as this is looking off toward St. Mary's County. But back here to the west, you can see that we have a lot of these lightning strikes still through parts of Greene, Madison County, moving out of that, moving into Spotsylvania County. There is a flash flood warning that remains in effect for Madison and Orange County until 12:45 inches of rain. I just sampled it out. Locally, 3 to 4 inches of rain in this part, but in terms of severe weather alerts, we do not have any. I did a reverse track for you. So what I wanted to do was say, okay, here's the storm that's moving from the west to the east, and I looked at this back edge, which is where it's going to end. So when is the storm going to end in your neighborhood? That's what this is telling you, not when it's going to arrive. It did it opposite. So Waldorf, you guys got about another hour, and it should be ending there in Charles County. Places like Leonardtown, it might be another 2 hours or so, maybe even a little longer than that, until the storm comes to an end. We're going to continue to track that, but again, no severe weather alerts at this hour, but a lot of local storm reports. I just tweeted out the report from the National Weather Service that has nearly 200 of these individual. You can check that out, Bill Kelly, 7 News. We'll be back with a look at more storms in our forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
That'll get your attention. A dangerous situation in Bethesda where down power lines caused this car to catch fires. A 7 News viewer posted this video on Twitter showing the car fully engulfed there. This was one of at least 2 down power lines reported in Bethesda. No one was hurt in either case.
And in this video, it's a lot clearer, too. A similar situation in northwest D.C., and you can see there 2 cars set on fire by down power lines. D.C. Fire and EMS posted this video from the scene on Cathedral Avenue. Firefighters used what they call a protective hose line to keep the fire from spreading to nearby homes. 7 News' Kim Jackson live in northwest D.C. continuing our team coverage this evening. And Kim, you found a neighborhood that was left in the dark from outages, and it's awfully dark behind you now. How are things out there tonight?
Still pretty much in the dark here. We've been here for a couple of hours now and nothing has changed. It's very dark. There's a lot of debris around me. I'm going to move out of the way so that you can see what's here in the middle of the road here on Yorktown. This is quite a roadblock. You can see there are trees, there are limbs. What it's hard to see are the power lines that are down, that have been dangerous, that were at one point live. And there's even a car over there. So this is not what neighbors on this street expected on a Tuesday night.
And just heard a loud boom and came out front, and this tree was...
Neighbors gathered on Yorktown, sharing their stories about what they saw and what they heard.
I don't know if it was lightning striking or wind, but it just was down, and the electrical lines were down, and there's a fire on the fence.
His fence caught on fire as the power lines came down.
What can you do? You just got to call 911 and let the pros do what they do.
And Christina Johnson's car suffered the impact of heavy limbs that fell.
Well, Bessie has been with me for years, and she served me well. So if she doesn't survive, it's okay.
She and others just glad it wasn't worse.
The rain, wind took down. I heard a lot of crackling and popping. My dog started barking, and so I looked out the window and I saw smoke and down tree. So down wires and trees.
And there were trees down in other places like here at 42nd and Chesapeake. A lot to clean up. Christina Johnson has already called the D.C. arborists.
I'm just glad that people are safe, animals, because we have a lot of dogs and, wildlife as well. So I'm just glad everybody's safe.
And so you can see that is Christina's car. She's looking on the bright side of things, but she hasn't even been able to get close to it because those power lines are still too entwined into the limbs and everything in the car and everything. There's not a safe situation. So this is what residents here will have to wake up to in the morning. In Northwest D.C., Kim Jackson, 7 News.
Kim, thanks. And remember, whenever a storm hits the DMV, you can track it minute by minute with our live radar on WJLA.com and also on the WJLA app.